And I believe we are live. Good to be with you guys. A lovely Thursday and a lovely ascension to you, if such is your persuasion. I forgot it was ascension this day, so it's a sort of a heathen choice for entities, but I think it will be fun. I'm looking forward to it, and I don't think I've ever channeled him publicly. I've channeled him for myself a couple of times, and he has a sometimes a very heavy but also very potent and magical energy. So I'm looking forward to bringing him through, and good to be with you guys. And Kevin, I don't know why the YouTube algorithm is after you, man. Thank you for the sharing of love, inspiration, and insights. Thank you for being here, and I'm looking forward to it too. And of course, this is Mondian Astral Oracles, and I also want to give a special thanks to all who donate, and a special thanks to Natalie, who's donated recently. Natalie with the cool last name, and and then also thank you for your shares, your likes, your subscriptions, and all the positive energy and the lovely comments you leave and everything. And just a technical issue, I'll say this to remind myself of it. Sometimes YouTube deletes the questions that people have put in the chat before. So I know Coffee Bean 13 left 2 questions earlier that have somehow disappeared. So I'm sorry about that. I remember one of them was about the red crystals used in Lemuria and Atlantis. So I'll try to answer that one because I can remember it. But the other one has gone missing. Hopefully it will turn up in another chat if you don't make it here to post it again. And with that being said, hey AJ, good to have you with us. With that being said, I'll bring him in, and I hope you have a good one too, guys. Yes, I. It is. It is. I. King of Kings, Lord of Hosts, titles that I would also like to assume for myself. Wanderer, One-Eyed Wise One, Transgressing, Transcending, and Transcending through worlds different. All of them I have stepped on. All of them I have conquered with my feet. All of them I have seen with my senses. I know the secrets of everything, and I know the secrets of those gathered here with me. That is the secrets that you choose to divulge. Everything is an open book, sorcery of nature brought forward and written in intertwined codes, allowed to be spellcast into magical symbols where they appear to you as things, items, real, but know that everything is enchantment, everything is a spell that you walk through and suffer under. If you do not allow yourself to see this, you become the receiver, the blind end of the vision. If you allow yourself to see this, you become the visionary, the seeing point of infinity. And so allow yourself to realize that you cast spells by every breath you take, every slight registration of things, objects, animals, creatures, creations, inventions. Everything is a spell cast on you and by you. And so enter into this magic cycle, this recycling of words and codes and make them your own. Allow yourself to savor the things that are built into reality, and by savoring them, you allow them to be changed. There is destiny at hand here. There is destiny in your fate as it unfolds. Everything was brought there for a purpose, everything arranged for you to shift the items in the dollhouse of your life and make a scenario of it that would suit you better, that would be more pleasing to the gods, us, the eternal forces that guide these realms of men. This existence you find yourself in is a creation, and you were allowed to play with it, but it was brought forward and woven into threads by forces greater than you. And it is with that wisdom that I connect to you this evening. It is the wisdom from the great and deepest reaches of the beyond, the wells beyond and below the world tree, the Yggdrasil. This is from where I drink my wisdom, and from the top of the heavens, great birds of prey and carrion, they whisper secrets to me of life and death. And with that knowledge, I change everything into its purported purpose. I bind to me and I break those contracts when they are no longer relevant, when you have served as a humble and yet honored servant of this King of the gods. You shall be rewarded with prizes and with company in the great halls where feasting is always taking place. Therefore, I bring you a deep love of nature, a love that reaches into everything and allows everything to be. And I bring to you blessings from the fields of Asgard and the halls of Valhalla. Very interesting energy. Um, yes, and I think I'll try to answer the coffee bean question first about, and I'm just going by memory here, but I believe it had to do with what red crystal it was that was utilized in Lemuria and Atlantis, and how they used it. So let's try with that. Yes, as I come forward, I believe that the name was red porphyry. We are not quite sure of the exact English word for this, but we do believe that this is the correct one, scanning from the symbolic vault of knowledge present in this living entity we come through, speaking to you as I do now. That is to say, this special crystal, it had the ability to not control, but create a bond or a link between the core of the earth and the surface world. And by doing this, it was far easier for the civilizations of which you speak, the high beings of Lemuria, your antecedents in Atlantis. Well, for these creatures, it became, or for these civilizations, it became easier for them to connect to the fluctuations, the tempers and moods of the magmatic planet on which they found themselves on. And so when lava was brought forth, as it will be brought forth on that open eternal day of hellfire, the Ragnarok, well, they were already aware of what would happen. And this is one way in which they were able to anticipate the destruction of their world and able to escape it to create new civilizations in other spaces with what knowledge and what artifacts they had left. Therefore, you can utilize this red porphyry in connecting to your own magmatic reality, to partially connect to the subsurface worlds of this planet, but also to connect to the subsurface energies of your own being, the energies of pure, raw creation, the energies of vital life, the energies residing physically in your perineum, but well, proliferating, spread out, enriching your entire being, making it able to sustain itself in a world of actual base energies. The red one, the stone energy, is helpful for you to connect. It is very akin to the energy of pure stone. And when I speak of pure stone, I speak of the mystery of solidity, the things that appear immovable, unchangeable, indestructible in this world of ceaseless change. That is something that you can use the red porphyry to utilize and to connect to. It would be helpful for you to do so. And we wish you a great many blessings in this as I send you the love of the planet and the Earth's inner core and bring it to you in this endeavor. And Nuabi Satop speaks the magic words, please and thank you too, and hello to you. And he asks, past few days, I feel this strange negative energies around me, and I sometimes feel I have multiple subconscious or souls of some kind of hive mind. Who is doing this to me? Please and thank you. I'll just read it again to be sure. Past few days, I feel the strange negative energies around me, and I sometimes feel I have multiple subconscious or souls or some kind of hive mind. Who is doing this to me? And I'll just add before we get his notion that this is usually a symptom of multidimensionality, that you begin to have this manifold, almost like prismatic understanding of yourself and the eternal parts of it. So it can be really confusing, but it's probably a pretty positive sign. Yes, as this channel was commenting, I am an ancient energy. You also know me by other names. Other parts of my energy have been approached in other cultures, though the energy of Woden, Wotan, Odin, this vibration, it is deep and rich, it is centered. And what it contrasts to in this manifestation, what you bring forward and I contrast to in this manifestation that we create together, is exactly the sense of centerlessness that you feel is informing this experience. So if you ask who is doing it to you, the answer would be yourself, but it is not the part of yourself that you would think of as yourself, that thing you sometimes approach as the mind-body complex, the walking animated figure of clay, that thing that does not live without the spirit that was breathed into it and that animates it. And that is the spirit that is doing it to you. It is spirit flowing into your experience. And so have trust that this hive mind is essentially the mind of you. There are different hive minds feeding into any human's particular experience. There are the cultural egregores, or the hive minds, for instance, of the state or the culture. There are smaller social hive minds, such as the peer group or the co-workers. There are hive minds such as the city or the village or the family, but there is also a collective human hive mind and oversoul. And partly, when you begin to realize this hive mind state, it is in a sense the human oversoul that is connecting to your particular pattern of the oversoul. And so you, in a sense, have an access to all these patterns within you. That is, you have an access to all the sum of human experience as it can be and will be totally experienced and has been totally experienced. But you as an individual being follow certain resonance patterns. And that means that your soul or your oversoul is following certain of these patterns and trying to fold them into your particular unique experience, thus sanctifying, spiritualizing the flesh and making you a more holy, more luminous, more perfect being. You could think of it in these terms. And that's essentially the process that's being offered you. And so, what would be helpful for you to do was to center yourself in the energy of the stone. And that is a place where you can also draw my energy from, though many energies reside in the stones. And so, get yourself a type of stone that you resonate with. I would recommend granite. That is, as it is a very heavy and binding vibration, and use this to center your personality. And so use the magic trick of saying, this ball is the core of me, it's the connection of me, it's the thing that is unchangeable and cannot be destroyed and cannot be altered by these experiences. And whenever you feel that these experiences are becoming too much and you want to return to it, then hold on to the ball and fixate on that energy you have invested in it, the core signature of you, and then return to that energy, and that will help you heal in this process. It is a beautiful process, and it is a blessing that you, in a sense, have offered yourself, for that is being offered to you from the eternal into this perishable world of forms. And that is where I encourage you to reach out and receive this gift, because you would not have gotten so far on this path of spiritualizing if it wasn't your highest excitement, your intent to do so. And therefore, I also communicate the love, the blessings, the understanding, the guidance, and the wonder of your higher self to you this day. And Jana says, "Good evening, ready for more wisdom." Good evening, Jana. Good to have you here. Um, and Salish says, "Greetings, Master and the Internet Collective." Greetings, Salish. Very good to have you here too. And yes, and Kevin says, question, Odin. I understand from the chronicles that you sacrificed your right eye to gain commission wisdom, and that you threw it into the well in Mimir. I feel that in a recent accident, which I nearly lost my right eye, that I became more closely related to your energy. We also named one of our dogs Odin, as we found the name resonated. Could you tie all of these themes together and give me any insights you would feel would be for my highest good in this now moment? Much love, Kevin. Much love, Kevin. What an interesting question. Let's see what he says. Yes, this was one of many rites of sacrifice that I performed, and I performed these rites to master the world of manifestation. That is how you would speak of it in these modern channeling terms, so to speak. Know that I have been an entity that have informed people through seers, through centuries, through ages untold. I have been with people, and therefore I am quite aware of the manifestations that people bring about, the sacrifices that they extend to the heaven in order for boons to be granted to them, in order for blessings to be bestowed upon them. And this is a very helpful way of seeing the thing you have undertaken. See, you were already guided into this path. You were already aligning with my energy far before. Notice again that you are also connecting to me through a vessel that is, in a sense, also built out of these energies of the northern landscape quite physically by the foodstuffs that it produces and the air that surrounds its seas. And these are some of the very natural or raw energies that you have been built to or drawn to. And so you seek out the mountains, you seek out the Sasquatch. And it was me calling you forward when you named your dog Odin. There is that sense of the lone walker or wanderer, which you also embody. And it has been in your lifetime. I would like to use the term battle, almost a duel between parts of yourself. One part that is fatherly, kingly, that sits at his throne in the Hall of Warriors and commands and dispenses advice, and one side that is lonely, rugged, prone to solitude, isolated, alienated, looking for wonder in places where no one else has sought them out before. And these two sides you are trying to configure, condition into your being, integrate or manifest, make into reality. And the only way you could do this was by a type of physical sacrifice. And so you sacrificed some of, let us say, your immediate physical reality, your immediate health, your ability to exert force so rapidly. And by doing that, you gained this second insight, this slow dimension, this feeling and sensation of the eternal moving within you. This is the side that is becoming active. It is the eye that is dropping out and allowing itself for second sight to take place. It does not mean that you will not succeed in integrating these energies, but it means that all your life you will have both these sides expressing themselves to you. And how were you to not neglect one when you pursued the other if you didn't have both of them built into your faces? And so you become like this energy that is in your lineage. That is, there were Odin worshippers long ago, long back, for many, many generations in your ancestry too. And therefore, this energy connects to you. And it is also the energy of wisdom of nature. Know that you are connecting to the spirit of plants, a thing that I learned from the Vanir and a thing that I understood by listening to the whispers of my wife and concert freak. That is, you have become attuned to these slow voices that speak within you. And it was such a slow voice that spoke the name Odin to you when you named your dog. And now it sits there as an invocation, bringing my energy into your being. And know that you will have a scar to tell for it. Know that you will have the wisdom to discern which battles to pick from now on. And that is the wisdom that follows every victor as he threads upon the battlefield. You have my blessings in this. Know that my energy is with you and working within you. Know that my wisdom is offering itself to you, and you can access it by playing around with this central axis of your head. And I am aware it is tender, but know that much of the vibration is also a vibration I am offering you to allow you to reconfigure your nervous system by releasing and relaxing certain impulses. And so that pearly spring, that sparkly feeling that awakens there, let it become a torrent and let it carry you away into the realms of vision that you have opened up by manifesting this incident. My love to you. Okay, I'm personally digging his energy a lot. I think he's really interesting in the way he responds. And then Jana asks, I am aware I picked up some negative beliefs and judgments each year. How to lay them back down and walk light again. Grazie. Yes, this has been a recurring theme for many of you in the energetic travels that you go through in these years. It's the fact that you are still sitting with quite a lot of residue. We could almost call it garbage or trash, things that are no longer wanted and that no longer serve you. Partially, there is value in recognizing that you would not have picked up these things if they weren't the exact match for situations that you have found yourself in. So that is to say that every blunted weapon, every spear that has grown dull or knife that no longer cuts, they were still tools and instruments that served their purpose once they were newly fashioned. And that is the same case for your beliefs, for the things that you have come to realize about reality as you went through it. And so when you ask to shed it, let me bring you the fairy tale image of you walking through the woods, and you are the Little Red Riding Hood, except what you are bringing to grandmother and the wolf is all the garbage and the trash that you accumulated in the past. And so know that when you are walking into this unknown forest, it is in a sense only the past that threatens to consume you, to jump out of the shadows and destroy you from this place. There is nothing really to fear here. You can simply leave your basket of dark and unwanted energies, of sorrows and anger, of grudges and insecurities, of all these things that you don't want to hang on to. Carry it into a grove in the woods where there is a clearing, and there you leave it to be taken by the wolf, maybe even by grandmother, but whatever force roams out there in the wild woods that wants to take it, maybe a wild roaming god will come past and sweep up those gifts, because notice that these unwanted beliefs, they were still a type of gifts to heaven. They were something that was necessary for you to bring yourself to the place you find yourself in now. And so everything has been recorded and everything has been appreciated as you move forward in shedding these patterns and allowing yourself to assume a new coat and take flight in that new magic costume. Love and blessings in this. Love and blessings are accessible to all of you should you reach out and hold them, though know that often you clutch so dearly to other things, things from the past or pretenses about the future that you hope to gather instead. And so your hands are too full to receive the love of the moment. Allow them to become empty and know that then they shall never again lack for love to hold. And Laura says, greetings and love to Mess, Odin, and everyone. Greetings and love to you, Laura, from Odin and the rest of the Spirit family. And Hologenic says, smash like and subscribe. Exactly, smash like and subscribe, people. Please do if you haven't already. And then and Laura asks, I'll jump down to the question here. My love to you, Odin. I've had the inspiration to combine other guidance regarding quartz crystal and symbols. I'm thinking to do watercolor paintings of ancient symbols to go and charging the crystals to go with the paintings. What guidance would you give me in weaving this magic? Much gratitude. Yes, much gratitude. My guidance here, and it is in a sense limited what I can give you apart from assuring you to allow your intuition to flow in this, because there is so much already coming through that this is something that takes shape out of the visions that your higher self present you with. And so when you begin to manifest and carry out these projects so rapidly, then there is are very few impediments that might block you in, well, carrying out this thing as it is most suitable to the liking of your higher self, let us put it that way. But what I would guide you to, what would be to connect some of these paintings and the colors of their paintings with crystals of contrast colors. So you could, as you paint a painting, place nearby a crystal with a contrast color. So the color that sits directly opposite to it in the color circle. And I'm trying to operate the lexical operations of this mind that is translating me, because I do believe that an instance would be, for instance, the rose color contrasted with the yellow color. This would be an example. And so you will notice that then there becomes this type of rainbow correlation where, well, there's constantly both a calling out for the vibration that is, well, we could say, use the term under prioritized or not dominant in the expression of the painting. And then there would be a sort of saturation of that energy coming from the stone. And that would be both very healing to you, but it would also be instrumental in creating a type of higher vibrational space and ingraining these higher vibrations in your creation. And that is the way that you grow this. But know that you are on the path here, and everything that you feel called to experiment with is something that's coming forward from a place of truth and beauty. And so our gratitude to from the higher dimensions for bringing through these configurations into this realm. Yes, and AJ asks, do any beings have a message for me, or is there something particular that I should hear? Thank you very much. And I think that was the question from the last live stream we didn't get. So good you're here to have it answered this time. Oh, yes, there's a pearly white Pegasus here to visit you, and it calls itself Peter. So, Peter, the pearly white Pegasus, is telling you to please pay attention, and please pay attention to he's showing us these type of lush green landscapes. So it's well, what the thing is that he really wants you to communicate, beside the fact that you are sort of galactic buddies. So you actually do some exploration at night in the higher dimensions, where Peter the Pretty Pegasus, he he takes you flying through these realms and these open expanses, and it has to do with you allowing yourself to release into open space, and you seeking open expanses where it's possible to you. And it might just be that you need to visit the park more, and that would be all right. But the idea to, for instance, look more at the sky and to feel that you are a part of the sky, and to feel that your being is more vast, more expansive, and contains more than the sky ever could, because essentially your being is the framework that holds up everything. And that's the message that this Pegasus buddy, he's bringing to you. And so there are, well, a strong encouragement here, well, from him and from your spirit family, to work on going into your parasympathetic nervous system. So anything you can do to calm your minds, and the image, also the opportunity being presented. And notice again, this is a type of, well, release into the expanse by actually confining yourself. So sensory deprivation tanks. And if you are unable to access one, then creating a type of sensory deprivation space at home could be just as effective. And this simply has to do with you stretching out on a mattress or somewhere where you can lie straight, and then covering your ears and eyes and allowing yourself to relax into your exhales. Maybe some relaxing music or binaural beats if you resonate with it. Those are some of the things that Peter the Pretty Pegasus and the rest of your pals from the spirit planes, they would like you to know. And he had a very loving vibration, that Pegasus too. So reach out to him. I assure you, he sends you his love. And Jochen asks, just good to have you here, man. I have a feeling that I'm just before a big breakthrough after a long dark journey of healing. Can you give me a general reading on this? Can you tell how my finances could unfold the next days? Yes. Well, you are intuiting correctly. So you sense this big breakthrough, and also know that where you have lined up is, so this has something to do with your incarnational trajectory, the way you have selected to come into these lifetimes, because you have lined up with this type of release energy. So knowing that you would build a very intense crisis at this point in your life, and then you would begin to open it up. And we know the energy that's often connected to this is the scorpionic energy. So it's that energy also of, well, the poisonous sting coming up from the unknown, and then carrying you away into a deceased world of dark and unwanted vision, and then bringing you back, restoring you, well, giving you a second lease on life. And that's essentially what is coming through. But there are some, let us say, dark shadows that you're shedding. And a lot of it, well, so much of it isn't really yours. So a lot of it is, well, collective guilt and darkness. And a lot of it is ancestral guilt and darkness. And so you actually have a quite bright incarnational signature that is your presence as a thought form or your higher self. It's it has a very, very helper-like energy. It has this energy of the one who purifies the waters before they can be used in the temple. That's some of that's some of the phrases that are being brought forward here. And so you have volunteered to come in and transmute a lot of this dark energy that you knew you would be surrounded by, because it's very much in accordance with your sense of highest calling, your sense of servitude to the ritual or the rite. And so the more that you can begin to ritualize the sacrifice to yourself, that is so very famously, it is said about me in the saying of the high ones that I sacrificed myself to know the secrets of the runes. And there I hung on that tree for 9 nights. And so that's essentially what you are being asked to do here. It is to realize that what you need to come into servitude of now, it is your own higher self, because it is that thing which has manifested everything that is good, bright, hopeful, and even also the dark things. But those dark things too were parts of a learning program that was sought out by it. And so there are great secrets within this. There are layers to your personality that you are now ready to reveal to yourself. And the more you allow yourself to bring yourself a type of gift, a type of sacrifice. And we say, because we sense, because you have this ritualistic character, that the more you can bring yourself a type of, we would say, almost numinous, miraculous, mysterious gift every day. And that could be the gift of an incantation, a prayer, an affirmation, a thing you have created for yourself, a magical potion, or any such thing that you may feel may be purifying to you and help to bring you into this certain mood of reverence towards the highest parts of yourself. The more you can help stabilize this. And this is what you're sensing about the finances too. And we do sense a dripping of gold into your experience, though the great financial rewards that you may, as many people, also long for, because there never seems to be quite enough for the uncertainty to end. Well, those are a bit further out in your physical experience. So there are still something that you want to learn from this uncertainty. And that's why you're playing around with poverty, so to speak, because know that you are being provided for, and what you need will be there. And so in the coming days, we do sense that there will be a type of settlement that will reach you and that will give you a, well, there will be a new state of calm surrounding finances, but it will also allow you to then look at some greater, let us say, collective codes of need and of fear that you will then be able to observe, because you'll be able to separate them from your own personal experience. And so that is very much what you are moving into, and what is becoming present to you. And so know that you have the opportunity and also the talent for riches. We sense that there is, again, this type of treasurer energy, something about the gleaming of gold and knowing how to distribute it valuably, that is also very available in your experience. And so I grant you a golden ring to also bind our energy together and let you know that the great king of magic mysteries, he also offers you his prosperity, and with that his blessings and his deepest, darkest, most mysterious love to you and to all of you. And Crystal says, hello all, missed you, Mads von Dion, happy to catch you today. So good you're here, Crystal. A long time no see, wonderful to have you with us. And Sailish, yes, that goes for you too, man. And he asks, hello, Mads and Odin. I too would like any insights or messages that you may have for me. Thank you in advance. Yes. What I sense is growing within you is the energy of the falconer. So it's this ability to discern and know that, well, it has to do with the stages you have climbed. So you have, in a sense, climbed the stages, ascended to a lonely tower of clarity where you seem to be able to look out at both past and future and see where you need to strike. And so there is this great pattern of the one who sends out his intention with focus and allows it to seek out the places where attention is necessary, required, being called for. And there you strike and know that. So when you rely on your ability to discern in this manner, you become very powerful in your expenditure of energy. So that is to say that what you are training and what you have been training is in many ways to park the energy where it is needed, both in your body but also in the outside world. And this is the energy of the falconer. And so when you think of your intensity as a or intention as a falcon, and know that you invest that intensity in it with in mind, the intensity of the bird of prey who hovers and then strikes when it sees the point where force applied will yield great results. That is the thing that's coming forward to you. And it has to do with some of these incarnational patterns. We sense lifetimes in Polish Galicia. We are approximately at the year 1562 here. And there is something about you training these fine birds and finding peace and beauty in their company and their dangerous and unrelenting ways, their precision and their grace. Take heed of these words, and you will explore much more of your story, both as a soul and as a being, and you will begin to create those things you set out to do. And Devon says, hello, Mass and Astral Oracles family. Much love and blessings. Yes, much love to you, Devonte, and to the entire Astral Oracles family. It's great to have you here, guys. It's I'll just add, like I've been doing this for like a while now, and it's just so cozy that familiar faces showing up and great energies, and like it's also interesting that in the readings, the more acquainted I get with reading specific people's energies, even though it's only through the live streams, like the more detailed the answers also often seem to become. So that's another awesome part of it. And Cheyenne asks, greetings, Mads and Odin. Great timing in this. Thank you. Thank you. Great to have you with us, man. And my inquiry is my wanting to transition into a new job in a new city. Any message on this transitioning would be helpful. Namaste. Yes, namaste. This is exactly a greeting that's coming to you from the future. So you could think of it as your future self greeting you from this city and greeting you from this job. And so, well, of course, remind yourself that when you transition, that, well, all hardships are temporary. So are all pleasures, but often the hardship seems to extend. And that is not that I foresee any great trouble with, well, the thing that you are undergoing or undertaking, but it is that this will be a challenge because it is a challenge for everyone to switch surroundings, to find themselves in a new environment, in new locations, new challenges, and new tasks. And this is something that would be worth reminding yourself of. So it would be good for you to take some notes on why you want to do this. And then you will be able to pick up these notes at a later date and look at them and then realize that, oh, yes, this was why I wanted to do this. It's because I actually have the desire within me to progress, to manifest new realities, to explore new things, to have new adventures, to expand my both physical sense and my capabilities as a professional individual. And those are all things that you are exploring. And so it's just simply helpful when you come into these places where you have changed so much, built up so much positive momentum that you change into a new reality, to know that there will be a type of, you could say, almost, yes, existential jet lag behind. So there will be some of, the idea that, well, you think that, okay, I want dinner and then I can go down to this place and shop for it, or go to this place and eat, or I'll visit my friend who lives here, and then realizing that, oh no, I need to have new routines because I'm in a new place. And that will be some of that jet lag. But then as you transition into it, we do sense that, well, after 5 weeks approximately, you will have transitioned into this new type of routine, and it will seem very rewarding to you. And that will be something that, well, where you will then feel that you have done yourself a great service by bringing you into these new challenges. And you will always be challenging yourself, but you wouldn't be presenting yourself with new and exciting opportunities from the perspective of your higher self if you hadn't, well, also put in all the work to be able to receive them and to get the most out of them. So blessings await you there. Go find them, enjoy them, and remember to love yourself while you do. Hello, Odin. If this does not break the law of confusion, what was my pre-birth plan, idea, or mission in this lifetime? Beautiful, beautiful question. And I forgot the expression, the law of confusion. That's an awesome one. I'll take that. I'll take that one to heart. Yes. Well, some confusion is warranted, and the reason that I am able to divulge these things for you, or to let you look behind the veil to glean a little more information out there from the reaches of the great beyond, from the world of the secrets, from where I took up the runes. From this world, there is still many mysteries hiding, and there always will be. And know a part of you becoming multidimensional, aligning with these new energies. It has to do then with you also knowing more of this purpose. So the law of confusion, retreating to, we could say, a higher order of confusion. there will still be things that you don't understand and don't remember, but you will have a certain remembrance as it is also growing within you and within the individuals interacting with this transmission, that you are something eternal, the knowing, the feeling of this. And so what you came here to be was, in a sense, an aligner of energies, a balancer. Um, we would almost say we are getting the image of a chakral juggler. And so this is, in a sense, the most positive image of the clown, not something that's ridiculous, but something that sets the world right by turning it upside down, by also bringing forward what is hidden or what does not want to be seen, holding it up into the light, looking at it with fondness and wonder, with humor and clarity, and then being able to put it back into its place where it is no longer hidden, where it is part of the whole. And so you are, in a sense, very much that integrator. And that is also why, well, you have undergone or sought out experiences of low integration and feelings of separation and of great confusion. It's because you are actually come here to bring forward that resonance of clarity, that feeling, and the feeling that you may approach it with this. It's sometimes called eureka, which means I have found it. So it is that aha or remembrance mission. And so, as it is often the case, if not always, then the question contains the answer, because the thing that your question seeks is the thing that is a part of this experience, of this contract. And so the idea here being that you, in a sense, came into this existence to have the purpose of understanding, of remembering, of coming back. And that is a sense of the pieces fitting at things becoming configured and aligned again. I know that this is something that you can have within your own individual experience, but it is also something that you can bestow upon others. So it is something that, well, once you explore it for yourself, you explore it for others. And once you explore it for others, you explore it for yourself. And therefore, keep seeking, because these experiences, they will also grow in intensity, and the connections you will make both on the physical and the astral levels are manifold, multifold, and bountiful. And so with great love, you undertake this exploration, and with great love, it rewards you for your pure heart and aligning with your purpose. The blessings of your higher self, the love of your entire spirit family accompanies you. Great questions again tonight. And 1111, 1111 out there. And love, 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 says Heather Houston. Love, 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 Heather. And Crystal asks, I laid a bird and stayed with as he pets. No, I laid a bird and stayed with as he passed. My cats got him. I was sad, conflicted, knowing of nature's circle of life. Many animals come and go, but protective and caring for every life also. Can you speak on that a little? Thank you. Very exciting to receive you this day, XXO. Yes. You do well to approach this as a circle and there are connections within it. So the sadness teaches you a lesson, and the bird volunteers to express itself as a being who also lives its time and then is caught by your cats, teaching them a lesson, teaching you a lesson, teaching everyone here a lesson about the remembrance of fleeting forms and the frailty of flight. That is this bird that came your way. It was destined to drop. It was destined to die as it did. And yet it lives eternal in the eternal realms, in this higher existence where time ceases to be. There is no separation between life and death. And so that bird existed exactly where it has always existed, within those exact coordinates of the time space where you met it. And that is where it wanted to be. That is the only place where that beautiful, wonderful miracle of that loving bird could ever exist. It is within that space it existed. And sure, there are other birds like it. There is fellows of its species that still exist, yet these are other birds with other coordinates. And the same goes for your cats. They are also creatures with specific coordinates. And they also have certain programs, harmonies built into them. And one is the predatory instinct. One is the instinct where they seek out other animals to destroy. Well, they do this partially in play, but to cats, there is no opposition between play and seriousness. There is no contrast between what is for fun and what is for real. And so they also needed to carry out this experience. And so there was no contrast in the life of the bird as it carried out its purpose. And there was no contrast in the purpose of the cats as they unfolded their doing and intersected with the bird in this murder most foul. And therefore it is only in the human mind, as beings that both reside in eternity and in the temporal, that it is hard for you to accept that this thing which you hold a love that comes from eternity for, an affection for, that is eternal, that springs from the realms of the unchanging, the realms of the gods, the realms of powerful magic and pure sentiment. And so you hold this vibration as you move into the physical space. And that is the contrast, that is the eternal recurring sadness of walking through these realms. And you humans, you still do not see the necessity of cruelty in this lifetime. You do treasure your cats, but you somehow still wish that they were a little less cat-like, a little less murderous. You do treasure human beings, but you wish they were a little less self-seeking, a little more, a little less fanciful, a little more predictable. And yet these are all programs that are carried into being exactly because you enjoy them. And so the more you can do to relish your sadness, and the more you can do as you do to also bring forward the perspective that you actually accompanied that bird, you actually sent it off from this world. And that is something of great meaning. That is you building a harmony out of the sorrows of the world, of the random and blind transgressions of species on species brutality, of the circle of life or the food chain. That is something that you did. You created an eternal send-off point for this being. And so this assisted not only you in coping with it, but it assisted humanity in becoming a brighter version of itself, a species that commemorates what is sorrowful and build monuments of beauty in feeling and sometimes in stone to these sorrowful passions. I thank you for tending to the animals. They are my dear friends. Blessed you are for this. Yes, and oh no, there are still first questions. Perfect, guys. Um, Curious light channeler question: why are magical relics indestructible when infused with magic? Great question. Yes, it is not in a sense the relic that's indestructible, but it is the blueprint of it becoming sacred. And so that blueprint becomes something that exists, as we were speaking of the bird, in a special time frame. It becomes something that is trying to push itself into reality, independent of time frame. And so you could say its signature, when it becomes infused with magic, moves towards the super akashic. And the super akashic is also what you could think of as the realm of ideas or the realm of eternity. And here, these relics then, by establishing this link, they connect to the healing or the magical or the binding power or whatever you may have created and embedded within that symbol or that relic. It creates this link, and so it brings the alignment forward of these worlds. And that is the way that these systems use. And that is, in a sense, also how the relics of medieval Catholicism, and we believe this is still to some degree in practice, though not with the same, to say, feverishness or raptures surrounding it. The idea that, well, there was something timeless by simply viewing or being in the presence of the dead hand of a saint that would bring you forward or bring you in connection to the eternal energy that that saint was in connection with. And it was that energy, or goddess, you would term it, that you would want to connect to, that you would feel the presence of. And when you do this consciously with magic, you create these very powerful bridges back to the divine. And that is something that's very helpful. And you can certainly do this with weapons. That was done in the time I was worshipped, and I have blessed a great many weapons. I have also broken them when it was time for me to claim these warriors I had marked off as my own and bring them back to Valhalla. These were some of the oaths that were sworn to me. And so know that every oath that you put into reality and that you use to enchant an object and that you do not break, it grows stronger and stronger, and it resonates in eternity. Play with this magic and you will grow very powerful. You are blessed in it, though you do not need blessings as you give them to yourself. And Hologenics, smash like and subscribe. I believe we said it before. Do smash like and subscribe. Thank you, people. And then I'll just check for first questions here. Pegasus, I never would have guessed. How neat. Oh, yes, the Pegasus, he also showed up. That was awesome. And AJ says, I've actually always wanted to go into a sensory deprivation tank. Others find them unnerving, but it seems like ultimate realization to me. Yes, I've never tried it, but I also feel like it's definitely something to try to do before you die. I think they're amazing, and John Lilly, who invented them, is a really interesting guy if you're into consciousness studies. So yes, woohoo for sensory deprivation tanks and wide expanses. And Adelina says, good to have you with us. Hi, Odin and beloved Mess. Hello, beloved Adelina. For quite some time, I am anxious about an issue of my daughter's passport. No resolution. I can't see what is the lesson and message here. Please assist me. Yes. The lesson here is it's a type of well, we know this isn't a particularly Norse in its expression, but it's Hakuna Matata. So it's essentially the idea that things will be fine. And notice that you have been in a place in your life, so to speak, where you have both manifested were quite serious trouble and then gotten out of it and then really taught yourself through that to relish and treasure the simple pleasures of being. But there's still a pattern where you manifest, let us say, minor problems, and then they become something to latch onto. And that's often something that happens in the trajectory of a lot of light workers, including this dear one. We would reassure him that it is the sense that, well, you're also looking for trouble. So once there is actually no need to worry, you still manifest things to worry about. And then you sort of get to play around with having this same intense feeling of, oh no, what am I going to do, and feeling helpless, before you sort of shrug it off and then say, okay, what will be, and it will be okay. And I've gotten this far and things are improving. So it will work itself out. And if it doesn't work itself out, that will work itself out. So even well, the negative or the unwanted solution to a problem brings forward new opportunities for other ways of you seeing that things work themselves out. And so the energy I'm receiving around this problem is not as much that it is a problem that's inherently dysfunctional, as much as it is a one of these types of, well, bureaucratic or delayed problems where there is a real human in one end of the who's expecting something, and actually where it has real life ramifications. And then in the procedural end, there is a person who's, well, just trying to get through another day of work with of paperwork, of which they perhaps are seeing a bit too much these days. And so there is a sort of discrepancy. And this allows, you could say, the universe to play around with that situation to teach you a lesson. And the lesson that is teaching you is just simply let it go, because it will work itself out, and you will be, because it's a very procedural realm you're within. So you're operating within this sort of dead realm of systems. And well, much as when you go for a drive in your car, if you're just following the rules, it's very it's very rare that you actually have to pay, let us say, individual or creative attention to what's going on. So it's teaching you to direct your problem solving mechanisms, your ability to create and to be positive and to solve things, to direct them other places, and then watch this fall into place as you change your vibration in that area. So that is the reading of the situation and the advice I'm getting you. And rest assured that these are the kind of tricks that I am, my blood brother, that tricky trickster, that god of rambunctious merriment, the demon god Loki, that he likes to play around with, to also let you see how chaos brings forward the new and unexpected into your life. And Lavender P, good to have you with us. I have come far on this journey of awakening, and recently have also been learning about cryptocurrency currency. I feel excited about the currency of the future. Is it in my best interest to investigate it? Fascinating. Like I'm always, I think I've had one client ask like investment advice to these entities, and I just think it's a very fascinating way of using it. And you're always welcome to try and throw the questions. But of course, I'm not promising to to make anyone millionaires. Yeah. Well, yes, you are exploring it because it's something that is calling you. And well, the basic instinct that's calling you forward into this is in a sense the entrepreneurial spirit, so or the investment spirit, the idea of ingenuity that you can sort of play around with your resources and allocate them special places and then see a return on them and watch that grow. And so, yes, we sense that this is coming from a playful place and that it is helpful for you to then proceed. But we also would give you, and we are aware that this is not necessarily something that you need, well, dead pagan deities to advise you about, but it is the fact that will only play with the things that are actually fun to play with. And that is so it would be better for you to expand on this. So maybe have an investment where you feel, well, it is much like, to use a gambling analogy. Well, the idea that you pick the table at the casino where you are, well, where you would lose so, where the stakes are so high that it makes it interesting for you because you don't want to lose that money, but where they aren't so high that you will have to sell your house when you get home. So it's the idea that you begin to play around with that amount of money in this that you're comfortable with, but that you also realize that if you lost this, it would not be, well, something where I wouldn't be able to get back on my feet or where I would feel that this would really change my life for the worse. And from that point, you then begin to see that, because that means you can grow that creative, fun-loving spirit around it. And the more you do that, then you might also be inclined to begin to take some of your earnings and then place them somewhere else and then have that thing expand and proliferate. And that is the way that I advise you to approach this. It is like the building of a wall that you place one stone and then another stone next to it. And then before you know it, you have sort of stacked a part of the wall. And even though that doesn't necessarily serve its purpose of, well, creating a, let us say, an encircled city or a cushy retirement fund, it will still be very satisfactory just simply to have seen that thing take shape. And it will also contain within it the pattern that will bring you full circle and building the full wall. So yes, there is great excitement in this endeavor for you. And we know that the people here present are aware of the idea that if you follow your excitement, it will bring you where you need to go. And so wisdom is to be attained in this as in every place that you look. Blessings. Oh, and Adelina says, let's support the beautiful channel with donation PayPal from our heart. They are most cherished and welcome. And if any of you feel that you would like to support it and it's not taking food out of your mouth, or taking your children out of school or something, then yes, please entertain the idea of supporting. But know that you are welcome here anyway, and your presence and enthusiasm is very, very appreciated on its own. And 1212 says, hello, my family. Hello, 1212. I wondered if there's information or perhaps a message for me. I have so many questions, but ready to receive a message. If it's okay, you don't have to ask. No, that's perfectly okay. You can always just ask for open messages. Well, yes, it's a very interesting image that is being transmitted, the vision that your higher self is extending to you, to us. It's a type of spiral staircase, and it almost looks like mechanical Lego DNA. That's some of the vision that's being presented to us here, but it has to do with something coming together. So letting you know that the construction that you have been undertaking, and you have been undertaking taking a construction within these past 3 years is the major time frame, though of course these things don't have necessarily exact beginnings and endings for most people. But there you have been trying to sort of build this edifice, and that has been where you have been aiming at. So you might, from your personal perspective, the mind body complex, it may have seemed as though you have been seeking a lot, but there's also been a great coming together. So a lot of clicking of the different pieces of the puzzle. And so where you are at right now is, oh, this is very interesting, because it's then showing us this image of your body becoming a type of antenna. So it's almost what are those? Yes, Transformers, the thing that they were very popular in when this vessel was a child, but the thing that, like, you can sort of put yourself in a place and then transform into a different thing. And so you are this type of way station for energy. So this type of strong grid pylon that focuses energy into your area. And it would be worth for you to explore this by we sense constructing magic circles, and you can do this with crystals, but salt would be helpful for you, for instance. So if you were to create a pentagram with salt, and then put yourself within it, and then invoke whatever you feel you would like to connect to, be it deity, angel, guide, whatever, invoke that into your life, and there you will begin to gain this presence, this sort of blessed presence, this sense of you being accompanied and having advice and help to gain from and gather from the spirit worlds. So that is the message that we're bringing through to you, and it's something that's really consolidating. So this sense of the construction finishing, becoming, completing, and becoming capable of what it has been building up to becoming capable of. That's very much the message that is being transmitted here. And that is a blessed endeavor. There is love in this. You know it, 1212. You are it. And Adelina says, thank you for the assurance and love that you have sent me, Odin and Mess. Much love to you, Adelina. Yes, I think it will be time for second questions. I'm not sure we can get to all of them, but I actually think we might actually be able to get to all of them if we do the second questions here. So awesome, guys. I will just check. Yes, Jana asks, what is true financial freedom? How does it feel like? Yes, this is a very beautiful message because notice that the bounty of the universe, the fortune of the universe is to have exactly one of everything. You would be infinitely rich if you had exactly one of everything. And the only thing that has one of everything is everything. It's the one divine that holds everything. And that is, in a sense, the idea of true abundance. And so when you speak of financial freedom, know that this financial freedom, it essentially only manifests itself in the idea of the potential or ability, capability, that thing you could call power, though power is often seen as something dark. But what you can realize when working with these energies is that, well, you already contain that abundance. So in a sense, there is, when you look at your own financial situation, when you peer down the ledgers and evaluate how much have you spent, how much is coming in, you also have this rapid perception, evaluation of your situation as one of either closed or open energies. And notice that it is the same with time itself, that your past seems as all the close that is flowing into a situation, your future as all the potential that is allowed for in that situation. In some instances, your past seems present, in others, your future seems to approach you. It is, in a sense, the same idea with financial abundance. In some situations, it seems that the negative expenses are closing in on you and becoming present, closing down the moment. In others, it seems that the opportunity for something to open up and to be attracted, a financial abundance into your life, it seems to present itself as, if not an opportunity, then as a promise. And if you notice that feeling at that moment where you realize that I will be having this money coming in that I did not expect, I will be having this surplus of something that I did not see coming, notice that that is the feeling that, if you were to hold it the entire time, would be the feeling of financial abundance. And so you know it already. But much as the state of bliss or other such feelings, you're often brought into the karmic worries of the world, and so do not manage to maintain this open, promising state of pure assurance, which is financially, you could say, the material or financial, the socially prosperous equivalent of the spiritual jewel of infinite wealth, which is knowing that all possibility is open to you and the past is forever closed and has no determining effect on where you are right now. I hope this has served to illuminate your question. Know that the more you allow yourself to see the value that you not only hold in your life, but that you have held, all the money that have passed through your hands to be spent on things, on sustenance, on precious meals, on warmth, on shelter, on these lovely things that surround you. The more you focus on this, the more it will also flow into your life effortlessly in the future. And AJ asks, I feel very drawn to bodies of water such as the ocean, like the idea of being an aquatic creature, but conversely, I possess an intense fear of this water. Is this connected to a past life or lives? Yes. Well, it is in a sense the aquatic. It has to do with the sense of the wide expanse again presenting itself to you. So you do realize in your inner being, from your higher self, in your inner knowing, from the dreams that are coming through in your life, from the visions that are manifesting, from these messages that reach you here, you do know deep within yourself that you are the entirety of the ocean. And yet you are in a place where when you release that feeling, you also feel the pressure of drowning. You sense the massive volumes of water threatening to drown you and to bring you to the deepest pits of the sea, to those places where light does not reach. Know these are places within yourself, and that you are drawn to explore them, that you are a diver, and that you cannot help but to go looking for the pearls, and know that within this ocean that is you, it is luminous. It does not turn dark at the bottom. There is an eternal, internal light source that alights you from within and allows you to explore these reaches and see the dragonfish and weird creatures hiding in your innermost being, these caverns of creation from where all these beings they have their source, their reason to exist. They exist within you. You are being fueled by an eternal fire, even as you are exploring below the sea of you. And so know that this fear is coming forward to also be transmuted. It will always be there, but it will grow to be greater and greater depths that provoke your fear as you learn to dive into these reaches of the unknown within you. Yes, and and Kevin asks if time allows, were there any games played by rolling dice in the ancient times of Asgard? And if not dice, then cards or anything else worthy bringing to attention. We enjoy games here. Yes, there were many games. One was the games of the three dice, and so the object in this game would be to hold all the dice. And so, yes, when each player has three dice and then they each roll them at the same time. And he who has the lesser number, so let us just for illustration's sake pretend that player one rolls a 2, 4, and a 5. Player 2 rolls a 1, 6, and a 5. Since 1 is the lowest representation of eyes shown on any dice, player 2 has to give the dice showing number 1 to player 1. Then they roll again. And if player 1 has the lowest showing number, he has to give it back to player 2. If player 2 again has a 1 and player 1 has no ones, he again has to give away one of his dice. And so the aim here is the opportunity to take all the dice from your opponent. You can expand on this game as you want to. the game of chess was very popular. There was the game of Nefertari, and you can look up the rules for this also. There were also games, you could think of them as akin to your dominoes. So the idea here also being that certain magic, usually inscribed bones or pieces of bone, small tablets, they would be ingrained with runic messages, and you would cast these runes. And so the one who spells out the most fortuitous combination of letters, he grants the favor of the gods of this game, a game over which I preside, and he gets to again pick one of these hallowed pieces from his opponent and add it to his own collection. Many of these games were about acquiring some of these magic objects infused with great power, having passed between different hands of different players, knowing all their energies, becoming more and more lucky, and allowing you to play with fate as a game rather than as a course set in stone. I thank you for this question. It has been a joy for me to recollect on these past times of merriment, playing games in dark winter nights in front of a fire. And I think Laura says, if time allows, I lived in Hawaii when I was pregnant with my son and worked as a waitress at a coffee shop. One morning, a regular stopped me to tell me he could see a curly-headed Viking child walking beside me. He was 10 pounds 5 ounces with a crown of curly hair. Iron still has an affinity for you. Would you share more about our connection to this energy? Much love and gratitude for everything. What a beautiful question. Vikings in Hawaii also very, very neat. Oh, well, yes. But see, your son, he's deeply connected to these people of fire. And so there was also something in his name here, aligning him to the role of the honored ones. And so it is in the language of this vessel also called Ea, but it has many names across Eurasia island, this idea of the exalted ones. And so this vision that you were presented with, it has to do with this Viking child. It was an incarnational pattern of your son, what you would think of as a past life. And in this past life, well, he missed his mother a great deal. And so therefore there has been a reconnection of the two of you within this. But he also sensed that within you there was a rare type of allowance of the elevation of spirit. And so that is in a sense what he has been doing in this lifetime, elevating his spirit, turning his attention to the concerns of the High One, of the Most High. And it's something that you have allowed him to do. So it's that little Viking boy in a sense reconnecting with his mother, it also has to do with the myth of Balder we sense. So it's this idea of, well, being severed from your family and brought into the realm of the dead. And that's something that he's restructuring, that's coming back in this lifetime by the two of you uniting. And you do this, then the both of you actually connect back to magical realms of secret insight, the secret symbols and insights into, well, yes, the deep knowledge of being and the ability to change these things by these insights. That is the connection existing between us. I am very present with him in the work that he does in this lifetime. He is blessed. Yes, we are. Yes, I think we are coming up about it. So no more questions, but I can manage to ask to answer the last ones that are here. So Davante asks, I know you go by many names and you were worshipped by the Egyptians as Thoth, and priests in the temples of Lemuria as Aud. How did they approach? How did they approach your energies in those times? Beautiful question. Yes, you see, often approaching my energy, it has to do with the creation of the one eye. That is, in any way I am approached through the focus of energy into concentration. And by focusing my energy into concentration, you enter into the realms of mental clarity, the realms by which the mental is transformed from random perturbances of mind to clear edifice of insight. And so it was much in Lemuria, it was through the building of crystal, of great focalize, focalization chambers of energy where resonances were brought forward. It was also in the singing of my name as eternal being, in the singing of the name of the eternal Lord of consciousness, as which I am, or as who I am approached in the Indian subcontinent. The singing of the name of the Om was how my vibration was approached in a Lemuria. In Egypt, I was known through the sacred mysteries. I was sacrificed to by the scribes. They brought me ink and incense to burn. They brought me papyri of secret incantations to be recited and then devoured in the flames, to be known only by my name and then to be spoken in the halls of the gods as secrets, to be known and then fulfilled, granted, manifested, created by them. That was some of the ways that they approached this sacred energy that communicates to you now and that exists throughout the cosmos. Blessings. And Lorenda says, thank you, that validated perfectly exactly how I feel about it and wish to proceed. Just fun and no more than I'm willing to part with permanently. Fun, have a lot of fun with it, and may it bring you bounty. And 1212 says, thank you, Mads, for bringing through that message. Wow, I'm so glad it helped. I'm always amazed also with feedback when people try to do some of these things, because of course it's coming out of a completely intuitive place. So when it just resonates with someone on the other side of the planet, that's amazing. I love this. I love this practice. So glad it's touching you too. And Crystal says, just wanted to thank you. Yes, many cats come with many birds, mice, rabbits, countryside. We get coyotes, deer, and all. But the moment it feels stamped, and I do thank you for that. Truly love. That's so beautiful. I could imagine out there in the Canadian wilderness, it's a load of animals, a lot of beauty, and of course also like a lot of brutality. It's good that you're taking care of those cats, even though they they are quite the killers. They're very cute while they do it. And AJ says, "Thank you so much. Thank you for being here." And Curious Light Chandler says, "I'm in the process of filling my root chakra with magic from the earth. What's the percentage of magic in my root chakra? Am I at 100% in love?" Question mark. Well, no, because if you were at 100%, you would begin to extend the frame so that you would drop the percentage but still contain the same energy. And so we have been through this paradox in other communications with other entities, we believe, but it's to say that you are filling quite up and it's a helpful process. So right now you are oscillating around 78 to 85%. And so you're really building up a lot of this energy. And so what would be helpful for you was to also sometimes discharge it down into the ground. So envision yourself connected to the energy of the mother, and then notice that you enter into a energy circuit where she balances the energy, and any surplus energy you may have will be drained off, and the rest will be filtered into your body and allow for that invigorating force to set your body alight, and then that can balance it, and then you can work on drawing in more energy if such is your excitement. But it's progressing very healthily is the reading that we're getting. Many blessings. Much love. And a beautiful message to finish off, Heather Houston. Thank you for that. Hi, Mads and Odin. I'm grateful and honored to receive those messages brought through the questions of those present. I was wondering if there was a message for all of us joining here. Thank you. Beautiful. I'll finish off with that one and have him give a prayer and a blessing. Yes, the message for all of you here is to notice the layers in every immediate thing that's around you. And so even a speck of dust, it has both things of base value that will one day turn into nourishment for flowers that will grow, but it also has a tiny angel spinning over all the molecules that make up this shape and this organization of matter. For all of you, there is a greater mystery being revealed and becoming accessible to you in your experience. And so this is not only something that will begin to change your lives on an outer scale in the coming decades. And you will, as you look back on this, naturally, all of you will, after a decade, have seen changes in your lifetime. But many of you will have seen changes that you thought weren't positive in the direction of, or weren't, okay, he's getting a little tired, this channel. So, but we're saying all of you that you thought weren't possible in your lifetimes, but that were more, because they were far more positive that you had envisioned. And so this process begins now. It has been growing, but it begins now in your immediate reality by seeing that in the fine layers of your experience is becoming more subtle. You're becoming attuned to the finer details and more appreciation about basic things. So if you eat a cucumber, you might sense that this cucumber has a little more richness and flavor to it than just being a very watery vegetable. It's something that's actually revealing itself from a new and more luminous, mysterious side. And that's where this secret of the wonder of life actually comes forward. That's where the magic to change everything begins. It's in the opening of the subtle, and this subtlety, it's something that you have grown through many, many lifetimes to come to a point where you can realize. And it's a process that once you begin to open this book of life and to read into the codes of nature as you perceive them right now in the moment, you begin to see that there is an eternity singing here for you. And you are singing this eternity forward from your higher self. You are vibrating everything forward through a spoken magic word that is your being, that is the mind body complex. And so I will also bring you some tonal frequencies here to bring you into this earthy, runic substance of your being, and then bring you a blessing spoken to you by the king of the Aesir. The limitless hides exactly below the limits of the known. The eternal hides exactly behind the constrictions of space and time. The personal, the magic of you, it hides exactly in the song that is being sung, in every passage of experience that you go through. You are something extraordinary, unique, incompatible, wonderful, a spell spoken of symbols that are only created once in the entirety of existence. Therefore, remember to see the magic word and enjoy it, listen to it, feel it as it goes on, because it is you, and you are it, and everything is a part of this undying song of truth. The love of Valhalla, the love of Asgard, the blessings of the Vanir, the protection of the Jotir, and the wisdom of the gods, the blessings and love, the bounty from us. I have brought you, I bring you, I give you. Be blessed this day, I, King of the gods, Wanderer of worlds, Odin, I have been pleased to be with you humans. Yes, how interesting, wonderful, guys! Like inspiring stuff, and thank you for your love and your comments. It never ceases to amaze me, all the cool stuff that turns up here. And Ketul Shah asks, is the existence made of infinite finite things or infinite things? That's a very metaphysical question, and it's one that will be perfect for the next live stream, because I plan to, as you know, the plan is what they're telling me, that I'm supposed to channel not this Saturday, next Saturday over at the Huculo, and you can find that on their homepage at some time, I believe, and also ask, and I will keep you updated. And then I plan for Pentecost, which will be, well, not this Sunday, but next Sunday, but probably Monday, because that Sunday doesn't work for me. But that day I will channel the Quanta, the Holy Ghost, the Divine Spirit. So that will team up with the general holiday. And the 12th dimensional Quanta, they love metaphysics. So anything you have about dimensional letter and the nature of reality, please bring it. Please bring it there, Kitsul, and they'll give a cool question for it. And yes, just thank you for being here, guys. And yeah, I'll just say that again. Thank you for being here. It was lovely, and have a wonderful full day out there. Good ascension to all of you, and catch you on the next one. Love and blessings.